Dang, seems like 2022 is the year for the downfall of the Nigerians. Does not look good for Mike Perry in the future. But Pereira was able to come back from a very competitive 3-1 deficit, and it all started off with a left hook. The kickboxing in this fight was actually pretty tight, with Adesanya only pulling away around with his slightly superior wrestling acumen. Pereira actually won the leg kick battle between the two. Adesanya isn't used to getting leg kicked, it showed in his previous fights, and in this one, Pereira landed pretty much every leg kick he threw, and Izzy couldn't really check any of them. Whenever Izzy returned fire with a leg kick, Pereira did a really good job of shin checking them or lifting up his leg to mitigate the damage. He probably defended against roughly 80% of them, so it was very interesting to see one of Izzy's biggest weapons be taken away from him. One thing that I thought would be a bigger factor in the fight was the disadvantageous positions that Izzy would have put himself in while in southpaw. But Israel stayed pretty disciplined, didn't lose outside foot position, and actually had a lot of success in kicking to the body while they were in open space, landing that shin right to the ribs, right under the elbow. Izzy was the fighter that utilized more body shots, which is what I thought Pereira should have done more at distance, and Izzy's jab landed quite a bit. There was an apparent speed advantage between the two when the fight was taking place at distance. Izzy had a huge moment in the first round where Pereira seemed to have lost concentration at the end. Izzy did a really good job with throwing off his timing by throwing the jab, feinting the right straight to draw head movement or a reaction from Pereira, and then throwing it to where his head would end up. He did kind of have him frozen like Elsa there. In the mid-range, Adesanya tried to clog up the space and mitigate Pereira's hooks by reaching out with a mummy guard and fighting hands, trying to control Alex's wrist. This worked semi-decently for him, but it was apparent that the size parity was kind of hard for Izzy to adjust to. He tried to fold in elbows over and over, but the distance just wasn't in his favor. When this was happening, I thought that Pereira should have done what Stipe did to Daniel Cormier and throw in body shots, but it did not seem to occur to him. Both fighters had takedowns in the fight, with Alex having a beautiful single leg entry where he tried to run the pipe but failed, and then switched to the double, cut an angle, and ran his legs to finish the takedown. Adesanya's takedown came from him parrying over a leg kick and using that momentary back exposure to clinch him, at which point Pereira tried to throw him, but his legs were pretty much glued together, so Izzy just swung him to his weak side and got him on the floor, where he basically held him there for the entirety of the round. Quite a bit of this fight happened in the clinch, and Pereira did a good job of targeting the body in those positions. Now to the finish. Throughout the entirety of the fight, Pereira would force Izzy to the cage, and then Adesanya would square his stance to be able to have lateral movement. In those moments, Pereira would throw the left hook, and he had caught him a few times or grazed him until the 5th round, where he landed it and ultimately put him away with a combination.